How many times have you boarded up?
The first time we boarded up was, I think, 1983 with Hurricane Diana. 1984, I think, is when Hurricane Diana came through. And that some of these boards have a reflection of it for the last 30, 25 years. You can see that something need replacing.
Have you lost track of how many hurricanes you've prepared for?
I have, honestly. It's been, oh, I'm sure the books would reflect, maybe 15, 10, 15. It seems like the 90s we had 10 in a row, one each year. The last few, maybe 5 years, it's been, been a lull in the activity, but I think the last one we boarded up was Isabel, and hopefully the results will be the same. That wasn't that bad, but we prepare for the worst, that's for sure.
Now, what have you learned? What's your advice for people that need to prepare for a hurricane?
We cover up, it's funny, we cover up all the facing windows that face either the water or a wind side. Granted, the wind will change, but this direction facing the water gets the most wind. You have to cover up the doors also, because the wind will blow the doors open. And if you're not in the building to close the doors shut, there's, of course, all the rain comes in. You have to barricade the doors too in case the plywood comes off. The doors, you still don't want the doors blown open, but every window has to be covered.
When you hear that there's a hurricane threat, you don't mess around.
No, ma'am. We take action immediately. With the buildings that we have to board up, all of them have to be boarded up, and unfortunately, if you don't leave a window open, that's the window that's going to get either a branch through it or a roof shingle will end up hitting it and breaking it, and then water comes in at that point too. And with all the rainfall, that's the last thing you want too, is water coming in. You'll have to have your house dried out at that point. So.
Have you ever had to go to a shelter?
Yeah, when we first moved here in the 80s, it was our first storm, and although very well advised to go to a shelter if you don't live in a substantial structure, but you'll be safe there, and that's they'll take care of you, and they have the necessary requirements to take care of you. My mother will be. She lives out at the beach. She's in a wheelchair. We don't have currently the facilities to help her and to help with her, so she'll be going to a shelter and joining my sister and my brother-in-law as well. To answer your original question, in the 80s when we first moved here, we did go to a shelter, and up until then, we've always wanted to maintain the building too. And somebody has always been left behind, but the other family members will go to a shelter. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you sound like the voice of experience.
I think you learn after each one of them, and that's after each storm we learn. Of course, unfortunately it's trial and error, and you learn the hard way. Everything in the yard, of course, has to be picked up. We learned the hard way with the doors. The doors had to be barricaded, and unfortunately that was a lesson learned the hard way, like I said.